video, we are going to see about non-probability sampling methods. What are non-probability sampling methods? They are convenience sampling, quota sampling, model instance sampling, purposive sampling, heterogeneity sampling, and expert sampling. Even snowball sampling also comes into non-probability sampling. So these are all considered as non-probability sampling methods. In non-probability sampling method, it does not involve random selection. That means that the chance of sample to be picked up equally or is not there in this kind of non-probability sampling, or the chance of the sample to be picked equally is not there. That is why this type of non-probability method of sampling is not a true representation of the whole population. Now in this episode we are going to watch about convenience sampling. We are going to talk about convenience sampling. What is convenience sampling? Convenience sampling is nothing but collection of data by researchers from conveniently available respondents. This method of convenience sampling is always uncomplicated and economical. That is the reason most researchers prefer this method of convenience sampling. For an example to say this, how to do this convenience sampling is, for an example, if you are doing a study in a healthcare setting like in hospital for patients, the patient flow will be routine patient flow will be there. So a researcher goes there and for fixing certain age group or according to their gender, what they need, the study subjects, they just pick them according to their own convenience. So picking according to their convenience, the study subjects or the patients who is coming to that hospital is a method called as convenience sampling. This method of convenience sampling has other names also. Convenience sampling is also called as accidental sampling or else haphazard sampling. So now I will give you an example for purposive sampling. In purposive sampling, for an example, to understand and analyze the quality of education in a country, you would like to pick samples from different universities of that country. So already you are fixing some purpose in your mind previously before going to take the survey. So for this purpose, you are going to select sample from the whole different kind of universities from the whole country. So this is called as purposive sampling. Now we are going to see about model instance sampling. What is model instance sampling? It is nothing but you are going to select the typical sample. Means for an example, from a lot of people waiting in a water list, you are going to see for the repeated modes or typical personalities you are going to interview. What is that typical personality means? More or less, they will be of same age, same gender, same education level. Roughly, by keeping this in your mind, you are going to select the typical sample for interview. So this is done in a context of non-probability sampling method. This method is called as model instance sampling. Now we are going to see about expert sampling. Expert sampling is nothing but you are going to sample from a universe or from a population who are already have some kind of demonstrable expertise in that field. For an example, if you want to take some opinion on some political issues, first you are going to pick the sample from the expert pool. Expert pool is nothing but the people who have more awareness about the political scenario of that country. So this is nothing but a subset of purposive sampling. So this is called as expert sampling. Heterogeneity sampling. What is this heterogeneity sampling? Heterogeneity sampling is nothing but you would like to include all different kind of opinion in your sample. That means it celebrates diversity. That means you are going to pick sample from different age groups, different gender, different religion, different subgroups, so that all the opinion of the population would be included in this study. So this is called as heterogeneity sampling. Now we are going to see about snowball sampling. What is snowball sampling is nothing but first you are going to identify a person who falls into your own criteria. For an example, if you want to survey some smokers or some cancer, so you are going to catch a person who already smokes, so he fits into your criteria. First you are going to interview him or survey him. From him you are going to ask who all he will be knowing as long-term smokers. So he will identify some people who are long-term smokers. From them, again you are going to ask for the sample who all are known smokers for them. So like that, the sample will start from one person and like a small snowball effect, it will grow. So this is called as snowball sampling. Now we are going to see about quota sampling. Quota sampling is nothing but you are going to already fix a quota, how many sample you are going to generate. For an example, if you would like to survey nearly 100 people, 100 samples, among them if you would like your quota to be 40% females and 60% males, you are going to just interview or take the sample from the whole population, and when once it reaches the point of 40 females and 60 males, you are going to just stop that survey. So this goes according to a predefined quota. So this is called as quota sampling.
Errors of sampling technique. There are three types of errors. First is coverage error, second is observational error, and third is processing error. Let us see what is coverage error. Coverage error is nothing but the error which occurs due to non-response or non-cooperation of the informant. For example, if you conduct a questionnaire study, if you give to the respondent to answer all the questions, but he has given incompletely, or he is not cooperating, or he is not responding to your questions, means here comes the coverage error. Or during your interview section you asked, or during your survey session you ask questions and fill the answers, but when you ask them they don't respond properly or they don't cooperate properly, this comes under coverage error. Second, observational error. This occurs due to interviewer bias or imperfect experimental technique, or both. What does this mean is, when I conduct a study or I do a survey, I ask questions where I don't let them to answer definitely. For example, if I ask which is your favorite color and you give three options, but his favorite color is not in these three options, means this occurs a bias. Interviewer bias. I don't let the question properly, or my observance to the patient or to the participants is not occurred properly. So this might occur due to imperfect experimental technique also. Third, processing error. This is due to the error in data entry or recording of respondent. When I complete my study and then I expel in a Microsoft Excel sheet, I don't enter the data properly. So this type of error might occur due to processing of my study. So these are three types of errors in sampling technique. Next, moving on to the difference between probability and non-probability sampling. So this is the end of our session of sampling technique. Till now we have seen all what is probability sampling, what is non-probability sampling, what are the types, what are the merits and demerits. To conclude, The main difference of probability and non-probability sampling is, in probability sampling, you can generalize to the population defined by the sampling frame, but in non-probability sampling, you cannot generalize beyond the sample. Second, in probability sampling, you allow the use of statistical hypothesis, but in non-probability sampling, exploratory research, or if you generate hypothesis, this type is used. Third, you can estimate population parameter in probability sampling, but non-probability sampling, population parameters are not of interest. Fourth, probability sampling, elimination bias might occur. In non-probability sampling, adequacy of sample can't be known. Fifth, in probability sampling, random selection of unit is done, but non-probability sampling is a cheaper, easier, quicker to carry out. So this is the main difference between probability and non-probability sampling. To conclude the whole session of sampling technique, this sampling technique might be useful for all the researchers and all the people who are interested in research, so that when a correct sampling technique is carried to carry out your study, then this will become a main success for your outcome of the study. So selecting the sampling technique is very important for any success of research.